Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Facebook Live. I am Anjali Varma. For those of you who I don't know, I am a business coach who provides help on launching your business, branding, marketing, taking it to the next level. Hopefully, I'm seeing you in my Mompreneur Tribe Facebook group, but if not, would love for you to head over to the Mompreneur Tribe Facebook group where you can find more info on me there. And I have a weekly newsletter at anjalivarma.com. Excited to go live today with my special guest, who I'm going to zoom in here. Mridhu Parikh, welcome.
Hi. Hey, Anjali.
Oh, actually, there we go. I like this look better. Okay, so Mridhu and I are going to be talking with you today about time management. So Mridhu is a productivity coach. Why don't you give us the minor details on what it is you do and the value that you bring?
Sure. I help really ambitious, driven entrepreneurs make the best use of their time to focus on what matters most to them, what helps them grow their business, to truly help them work smarter and just feel less overwhelmed in the process.
And when we were talking in advance of setting up this live, we were talking about how some of those words that we hear often from female entrepreneurs and mom entrepreneurs particularly are overwhelm, stress, time management, how to fit it all in, on the personal side and also on the business side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of anxiety. We wear tons of hats, roles, responsibilities, projects, to-dos. It's like the list, the to-do list, right? It goes on and on and on and on. And it's overwhelming. So sometimes it can either cause you to just totally shut down, right? Have you ever looked at your list and you're like, I have no idea what to do right now. And you just spend an hour and you're going in circles and circles and circles. Or you just kind of are just there to like mark off or cross off like everything or anything you can, and that leaves you totally scattered and unfocused as well. So
yes.
There's a lot.
Today in my newsletter, I talked about how I abandoned my to-do list for the last 3 to 4 weeks because and how it was like this shameful mompreneur thing. But I think it was like the overwhelm was so much and the lists were so long that I just stopped doing it altogether, which I don't recommend to anybody. And I'm back on track. But so today we're going to talk about managing your time like a superwoman. And Mridhu is going to give us some really good tips on how to reduce the overwhelm and to avoid the distractions, right? So what's your first tip?
Okay, so before I even get into the tips, I'm just going to say like the overarching theme of everything I'm going to talk about is the challenge or the way that we sabotage ourselves all the time is this. We rely on willpower. And willpower sucks. Willpower blows. You're already trying to use your willpower all day long. And so the more that you are relying on willpower, the less successful you typically are, right? There's almost only that much willpower you have. So over the course of a day, you're kind of getting through that energy. By the end, you have nothing left to give. So another way to put that, here's an example. An analogy would be if you were trying to lose weight right now, if any of us want to get healthy, you want to cut out the bad food, would we sit down and throw out in front of us all the Snickers and the candies and the donuts and the chocolate cake and then be like, I'm not going to eat that today. I'm just going to do all my work. Would you do that?
No, that does not sound like a good strategy.
Right, not a good strategy, right? So you wouldn't do that. But when we're trying to focus on our revenue generating activities and provide the best value for our clients, we just throw out all these distractions in front of us all day and then rely on willpower.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't work. So I'm going to start by saying that, and I'll get into really specific ways of doing that, of avoiding that rather. And one more thing before I start, one caveat is some of these sound so basic and so simple because they are, but we know that sometimes the easiest things are not what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So I want everyone to keep a really open mind. Don't go into it with some, thought of I've read that, I've heard that. Just listen because it works, because I put it into practice with myself and hundreds of entrepreneurs and it works. Okay. All right.
And I also want to say before we get started that throughout our conversation, feel free to comment and we will get the comments and we can kind of pause to either answer your questions ongoing and or respond to your comments. And if you happen to be watching the replay of this, which I know many of you do, feel free to comment as you're watching the replay, and both of us will go back throughout the week and kind of check back and answer any questions you might have, even if you aren't joining us live. And if you are out there, throw me a comment, as always, to let me know that I don't have any technical difficulties. And so I'll wait to hear from you guys. But in the meantime, we'll get started with how to avoid the distractions. So basically, you're telling us that we can't trust ourselves as much as we want to. Is that right?
Yes, it's this false sense of reality or this false sense of security, like we're going to do it, but it's better to just not have it. And then it's not in front of you, right? Okay, so number one way, just 5 ways I'm going to go through, 5 tips. Number one is you want to clear your desk or clear your workspace. So again, you might be like rolling your eyes like, oh, maybe I know this, or maybe I don't know this. I don't know. But here's what happens. I'll tell you why. So let's say you are sitting down and you're going to type out your email. You're like, it's first thing in the morning. I have all my high priority work. I'm going to work on it. And as a neurological response, when you're thinking, you know, when you actually get into that state of flow, that like your things are coming out really well, you think and your eyes shift. And when your eyes shift, you typically actually look up when you're thinking. So you look up and then you see, oh, damn, there's that invoice I got to pay. Or, oh, there's that sticky note. I got to call Cheryl back. Oh, I got to send out that email. And you just kind of start reacting to things because you're ambitious and you don't want to forget it, right? You don't want to, you're like, it's better for me to just take care of this now, but so I don't add it to my to-do list. So you start reacting to it. Now, let's just say you don't actually even physically grab anything. You know it's going on the mental checklist, right? You know you're putting it on. So now right there, that's taking your focus away from what you're doing, from that flow that you're in. You're doing your good work and you're already like, I have to remember to do that later. And just that moment can just throw you off and lose, you know, maybe the thought you were having, that you know, and it takes a few minutes to like get that, what are those right words back again, and so on and so forth. So now if you want to clear everything off your desk, it doesn't mean, this is not permission to become a perfectionist and take out your colored labels and your color-coded files and your label maker and have to organize everything. I mean, literally, you're picking it all up, like the papers and folders and tabs and stickies and notebooks, and you pick it up and you want to put it behind you on the floor or on a desk behind you. So not even on a stack on the side of you, because your peripheral view is just as distracting as what's in front of you.
Wow. So are you saying every time we're sitting down to do whatever task at hand or to kind of tackle that to-do list?
Yeah, like that or that particular thing. So we'll talk about this, but let's say you're like, I want to work on that email. I need to get that proposal out. I need to work on that blog. I need to get, you know, whatever it is, that webinar. It's a task you're working on as a project. You want to get everything else cleared.
Okay.
Super simple, right?
Okay.
Simple, right?
Your phone too.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But the only thing I'll say, keep one thing. The only thing that should stay on your desk, and again, this is just for a matter of distractions. I'm not going to, just like we're on a diet, we're not going to throw it out in front of us, is I would keep my pad and pen next to me, or the one tab I keep up, I do all my lists digitally on Evernote, I would keep that tab up, or just keep this. Because here's the thing, when you're trying to focus, is exactly when you're going to get distracted the most, right? You're going to have, it's like trying to meditate. You're going to have like 7,000 ideas pop into your head at that minute. And so instead of reacting and taking action immediately and just doing it, you have your pen and your paper and you can write it down. That way, you know, it's not going to fall through the cracks. I don't have to do it right this second. I'm not going to forget it. So it really gives you that peace of mind that you have it somewhere.
Okay.
All right. So we're like, all right, not so bad. I'm just going to clear my desk. That's all she said. I'm going to pick up the stuff and put it behind, clear my desk. All right, number 2. I'm just going to ask you, Angelique, since I can only really see you right now. Do you have like 72 tabs open on your laptop?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah.
Every time my husband comes to my computer, he's like, yeah. Overwhelmed.
Yeah. So this is, again, I'll go back to the diet analogy and the food in front of you and the junk food. This is just like having all the papers around you. Again, if you're trying to focus and you're in flow and you're doing your best work and you want to work at your optimal performance, when you look up, there is no way you can resist the notifications or every time the email comes up or the Facebook or I can't like forget to do that thing. I got to get back to the spreadsheet. I got to check out that website. I want that recipe, right? It's just always in your face. And so even if you're not like clicking on it right at that minute, it is always, it's just an unconscious reminder in your head, and it's weighing you down, and it's just taking away really valuable brain energy away from you, because you're actually utilizing it on kind of nonsense or stuff that doesn't need to be done right at that minute.
Okay.
So the best thing is you want to turn off, close the tabs. I know this is crazy. We're going to close the tabs and we're just going to leave open what you're working on. If you're working on your blog, you have your blog open. If you need some other sites to reference, you can have those open just to reference it and then close the other tabs. You can remember your tabs in other ways. One, remember you got that to-do list thing. You got your bookmark manager on your bookmarks. There's other things you can do. But by simply closing the tabs right there and then, you are putting yourself in just like in the driver's seat. You're just setting yourself up for success by being able to get away with those distractions. So we don't have the physical distractions on our table anymore, and we don't have the 7,000 tabs open.
Do you, I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder, so you can tell me if I am, but do you know, aren't there sites or blockers that can help to like block out Facebook and or some of the other sites while you're working? Do you know any of those?
Yes. And I use one all the time. So what is it called? Because it's just like embedded in my thing. I'll come back to it and I'll put it in.
You can post it after, but I do know that for those of us that have like the least amount of willpower, that there are things that can like block basically all your other websites and or tabs from what you're working on for like a 45-minute time period or whatever the time period is that you designate. Is that right?
Yes. And oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I can actually look on while we're talking in a minute. I think it's always on mine. And there's one specific one. I was going to talk about that in just a minute, but we can talk about it now. But it's for social media. And so there's different ones on depending on what you're using, if it's Chrome or Safari. But if you just go on there and, well, I'll tell you in a minute what to search for in a minute. But you can go in and install it, and it will not allow you to go to your social media for at least 25 minutes. So 25 minutes, let's say you're working on your blog post and you click over to Facebook because, we can't resist, and you click over, this message pops up. It's like, nah, sister, you got 12 minutes left, and like, you can't get into it. It's fabulous. So
I'm gonna need that.
Don't rely on willpower. Don't rely on willpower. Put in these simple plugins, close the tabs. You're just going to click if it's there. You just are. It's just what it is, right? Okay. So now you're like, all right, I've cleared the desk. I've turned off my tabs. Now let's talk about our appendage here, the phone, the freaking phone, I know, can't live without the phone. And I'm not even going to pretend, I'm not even going to say turn it off because that's a joke. No one's ever going to do that. You can put on vibrate, but who's not going to do this? Ready? It's like, bzz.
Right.
Who is not going to look at it? That's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. Of course you're going to look at it, and then you're like, oh, all right, I'll just respond. Oh, then I saw my text. Oh, I've got to see an alert, and you just start going all into it. So one really simple trick that I use all the time is if you go into your phone and you go into settings, you put on airplane mode.
That's a great trick.
And when you go to airplane mode, you don't actually get any notifications from anything, and but you still have access to your phone. So let's just say if you were out and about, or if for whatever reason you needed to get on it, like you needed to make a phone call or like check something on a website, you could get on there and do it, but you're not getting those incoming disruptions. Okay, so just for the time that you're focusing, again, don't rely on willpower. Willpower sucks. Just put it on airplane mode.
Yeah, I love that. That's so easy, and yeah, that's a great tip.
Okay, so now you're like, all right, I'm gonna do what she says. I'm gonna clear my desk. I'm gonna turn off the tabs. I'm gonna put on airplane mode. I'm just gonna sit down. It's 9 o'clock. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna sit and like work on my blog for the whole morning. How long, Anjali, how long do you think that's going to last?
What do you mean? Our ability to do those 3 things you said?
How long are you just going to sit, focus, and I'm just going to clear everything off and I'm just going to do my work?
Yeah, probably 10 minutes.
That's pretty good. That's good.
Maybe
that's good. I like it.
Credit.
Yeah, so at least I would say at most 10 minutes. I don't even think I could last that long unless you put some parameter around the amount of time, just tip number 4, that you're going to be focusing. So here's the thing, to just be like, I'm just going to focus. I'm just going to get this thing done. I'm just going to clear out my morning. It's, again, you're relying on willpower. There's no way. There's too many things going on. You haven't checked your Facebook, my Instagram. People are going to chat with me. You're freaking out, right? It's just not going to happen. My email. So instead, before anytime you're going to sit down, you want to just put a block amount of time around it. So maybe it's 30 minutes. I say always start small. Like don't go for the 2 hours if you're not, if we're not used to just sitting focused and doing it. It's unrealistic and you're just setting yourself up to fail. So actually what I'd love to, have you heard of the Pomodoro technique?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
That's like an app you can put on your phone, right?
So for anyone who doesn't know, the Pomodoro technique was invented by some creator back in the 80s, based on like the Pomodoro tomato. So and what he showed, like through his research, his brain data and science, was that our most optimal brain performance is in levels of 25 minutes, or in intervals rather of 25 minutes. 25 minutes! Isn't that good news? I mean, what if the research showed it was 2 hours? We'd be screwed.
I know, but what do we just say? We can't even do 10. But.
Right. But if you knew, if you were like, okay, I only have to do this thing for 25 minutes. And after 25 minutes, I can jump into my Instagram, my Snapchat, and my Facebook, and my emails, all the good things. If I only do 25 minutes as a business owner, could you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 25 minutes. So there is an app, and I'm actually going to bring it up because I want you to see it. I think it's important. So you can go to the App Store and go Pomodoro, and it's like $1.99, but I'm too cheap for that. And so I do Focus Keeper, which is a free one. Okay. So can you actually see this?
Oh,
yeah. I had it on. So let me skip this one because I use it all the time. So it says 25 right there. Okay. And the reason that's really different than like going into your phone and going to timer and then doing 25 and all that, was a few things. One, it's just one click, so it's done. It's efficient. It's really easy. And then what this will automatically do after it does the 25, it's going to count down. It will go to a 5-minute break. And so what the research shows was that after the 25 minutes, you have to take a 5-minute break in order to really sort of just like re-energize and like almost like disconnect to reconnect, to just kind of get your brain just moving in the, better and faster. So it's like, you're forced to, you're like, 25 minutes to get to focus. But then for 5 minutes, I can check my email, I can get on my thing, I can turn off airplane mode, get back on, do my Facebook, whatever it is. And then you go back. And so this will turn to a 5-minute timer. It will turn blue. It will go 5 minutes. It'll buzz again, and it'll go back to 25. So you don't have to keep going into your phone and putting in 5 and 25. You're never going to do that, right?
Right.
You just leave this on. And I got to tell you the difference. This is like my secret weapon in terms of being productive, because what you don't want to do is think, I want to look at my laptop, like the clock on my laptop or on my wall or on my watch, my phone, and like do 25 minutes. Because first of all, you know how many times you look at your watch and then 5 minutes later we have no idea what time it, like what time I look at my watch. You just don't even know. You lose track. You forget. And when you're watching time, so here's a psychological thing. When you're watching time go away from you, you start getting more stressed. So if you're watching it going 9:25, 9:26, 9:27, you're like losing time and you're getting stressed out. When you're watching a timer go down, 25, 24, 23, see the difference? You're like seeing time. It's like you're working against a clock, and just psychologically the time is coming down. So it's not feeling as stressful, and you're always working towards a goal. And the buzzer goes off. And so really I can get into all the brain science behind it, but psychologically working against a timer is very internally motivating. So that's why I really think this is the weapon. And knowing it's only 25 minutes is going to really help you stop procrastinating on things. So let's say you've been thinking about whatever. I don't know why I keep thinking of blog posts, probably because after my blog post. But let's say you're like, I've been putting this up for so long. But then you tell yourself, okay, I just have to do it for 25 minutes. That's it. I just got to do 25 minutes. That's it. So you put on your Pomodoro, and I'm telling you, girls, men and ladies, whoever's on here, you are going to be so blown away by how much you get done in 25 minutes of fully focused, intentional, undistracted flow time, because it has been so long since you have done 25 minutes of undisrupted flow time. You don't even know what you're going to get done. You have no idea what you're capable of. I swear. I hear this from clients. I speak all around the country. I hear this all the time. The number one tip people say is that thing changed my life, because I always underestimated how much I can get done in 25 minutes. Because I'm never actually fully focused. So it's more like what I would get done over an hour and a half, but I got it done in 25 minutes.
So do you recommend doing it back to session, or, taking a 5-minute break how much time are you usually blocking to do this kind of exercise in your calendar?
So it just all depends on the task. A lot of times I'll do 2 Pomodoros back to back. So that's a 25-minute, 5-minute break, 25-minute, 5-minute break. And it might be about the same task just because a lot of things I feel like take about an hour. Like it might be the blog post. I was just working on a webinar training. So I did 3 back-to-back Pomodoros. And here's just a little tip. It's probably getting a little further into this, but if you were in the 25-minute and you're in a really great flow, because I hear this from a lot of clients too, as they start getting better at this, using it more, they're like, I don't want to break up by 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm in such good flow in it. Then don't. Just go straight through the 5-minute break. Work through the next 25 minutes. You'll be at 55 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. It really is good for you to just disconnect for 5 minutes to be able to reconnect better. It's weird, but that's how it works.
Yeah, so I think this is so good, like you mentioned, for those, like a lot of people will say, I don't have time to write blog posts. I don't have time to create the course that I've always wanted to do, writing a book like you happen to be doing right now. So, some of those tasks that seem so super overwhelming or I don't have time to do, this is maybe a good way to start, like trying the 25 minutes a day even, blocking it every single day to kind of start to take chunks away of some of those bigger tasks that seem so overwhelming.
Totally. And, it works great in your house too. But if you're like, my house is a disaster, I can't even, okay, you know what? I'm going to put on a 25-minute Pomodoro and just pick up every trash I can in the house. And I can guarantee you're going to get so much done in 25 minutes. It's a motivational tool. So although I can talk about it all day, but you just have to try it. And once you do one, you'll be like, oh, this is magic. I'm going to do more.
So you have 2 boys. Have you tried this on your kids too?
I help definitely with homework stuff because they're just the other boys and they can't focus very long. So that's really helped. And even their teachers have told them about this. They do 20 minutes, but whatever, maybe not this app, but same idea. And, but sometimes just things like we're like pick up. Okay, we're just going to put this on. Everyone's just going to do just straight for 25 minutes. Don't get disrupted. Everyone pick up your clothes. Whatever we get done, and we get so much done.
Yeah. So what was the one that you like that's free as opposed to the pump?
Oh, Focus Keeper.
Focus Keeper. Okay.
And I just remember the app from before. It's called Strict Workflow.
Strict Workflow is the one that can block some of the social media sites or any other sites, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And what I was going to say earlier was you can just search whatever browser you're using, like Safari or whatever you're using, search Pomodoro. That's why I didn't want to bring it up earlier. Search Pomodoro and it will bring up some options. So I know in Chrome, it's Strict Workflow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, and Rosanna is chiming in saying she uses this or a hybrid of it, and I think you mean the Pomodoro, right, Rosanna? And that it's really helpful. I know, and I've tried it, and this is a good reminder for me to like go back and start doing it because I think it really can help to, like I said, take away those big projects or even the small ones that you need to get done.
Totally. Yeah, I think you'll be amazed how much you'll get done.
Okay.
All right.
So we've got clear our desk. We have airplane mode. We have
close your tabs,
and we have the Pomodoro.
Yeah, and putting that time around it. So finally, I'm just going to say this, that if you are still freaking out, if you're like, I want to, I'm doing all the things, but, and I want to get through a big project in the morning, or I need to be really focused, but other people or my expectations of other people is really freaking me out. Like I'm worried I need to get back to my clients. I got to check my email more often. What if people are looking for me? And it's just really still stressing you out. The last thing is that you've got to let other people know. You've got to communicate to people, and then this sets their expectations, your expectations, and takes all the stress off of you. So for example, you can do this really easily with your autoresponder in your email. And you could say something like, I am in a meeting, and you can just make this up. This could be your meeting with yourself from 8:30 to 10. Let's say every morning, you're going to focus for an hour and a half or every 2-hour block. You're like, I'm using my Pomodoros. I've cleaned my desk. I've turned off the tabs. I'm just really going to get all these different things done, but I don't want to get distracted with my clients. So you could say, put in your autoresponder, I'm in a meeting until 10 a.m. I will check my email. I'll check my email then and get back to you as soon as possible. Done. And like that, you've just taken off all the stress off yourself. I've got to get back to them. I've got to check my email, right? Because you're just so worried that they are trying to get in touch with you.
Yes.
You can do it with your voicemail. You can go, we have our own businesses. We are allowed to say things like, I check my voicemail at 12 and 3. I'm going to be in and out of the office today. I'll check my email at 12 and 3. Leave me a detailed message. I'd be for sure to get back to you by the end of the day. That's it. It's as simple as that. Like, then we don't have to check our voicemail every 5 seconds or our text, So they're just really simple ways of communicating that take that pressure off. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, any relationship, whether it's your clients, your colleagues, your kids, your family, friends, people just need to know two things. That's all they want to know. They want to know, am I being heard and am I being taken care of? And as soon as they know that, like, yes, oh, she got my message. She said on the voicemail, she said on the email, she got my message. They got the responder, right? I got the voicemail. And yes, I'm being taken care of. She's going to get back to me by noon or get back to me by the end of the day. Or I will text, leave me a text if it's an emergency. Otherwise, you'll hear from me in the next 24 hours. Whatever you want to say, but that's all people want to know. So from their perspective, it's like, got it. She's all over it. Done. Like, I'm okay. And then you take off your expectations. So I can't stress that enough, because I just feel like this is why we set ourselves up to be reacting all day, when we can take these really simple steps to just, put ourselves in a position of success.
Yeah, I am that person that's like, oh, but what if someone's trying to get a hold of me and and then I check my email and like nothing has happened, right? But like, it's like that, yes, it's that total stress. And I've seen some people go as far as to be like, I check email at 9, 1, and 3 o'clock. And that forces them to basically, they're not on email those other times, and they are managing the expectations of those people who, have emailed them, which I think is like way more discipline than I think I could ever do. But for those of you who are ready for that, I think that I've talked to people who do that and say it's honestly life altering.
It's life altering. So again, it takes off the stress off you and off them. Like, they know, they're not really the stress off them, but they know, like, oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'll go back after one. It's like no big deal. You have to think of yourself as if you're the recipient of that message. Would you think any less of the person, or would you think, oh, they're on top of it?
Right.
And if your perception has just gone up tenfold, they're like, oh, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could run a business like that. She's so on top of it. It puts you in such a higher level of, just control and confidence, even from them seeing something like that.
And avoiding the distraction that you're talking about and allowing you to actually focus, right?
Yeah. And for those Pomodoros, by the way, if you're doing it, you can set up a 25-minute Pomodoro at, let's say you're not checking your email till 10, and you then schedule in a half an hour just to respond to emails. And so that becomes one of your Pomodoro. You're like, instead of me distracted by, I'm going to check it, I'm going to do my email, and I'm going to get over here and do my, this blog thing, I'm going to mail this and do a text. You're like, I'm just going to do my emails. And like, how much more refreshing that is, and how much you can get through when you're doing 25 minutes of only emails, nothing else. You'll be amazed. Again, like, what used to take you, you felt like you were in there all day, all the time, you can get it done in, let's say, 3 blocks over the day.
Yes, okay. Do we have any other questions from people out there? I know one person had emailed in, and you kind of touched on this, but how would some of your techniques and the time management techniques apply to our personal lives and our mom life? I know we covered a lot of the business stuff, but any tips for mompreneurs out there who are, trying to also balance all this personal stuff that goes on in the home and the kids and all of that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'd say every single thing that we talked about right now applies to home. I mean, in the sense of, using your voice, blocking out your time, using the short periods of time, clearing the areas you're working in, just really setting yourself up. So first of all, just like clearing yourself of those distractions as much as possible. And then the second thing I'd say is, and I've kind of used this term throughout, is the idea of time blocking. Like blocking out your day and blocking out specific periods. And if it's just 25 minutes, that's fine, or 30 minutes. In fact, I would say just do 30 minutes. Don't even try to, I think this whole idea of like blocking out my whole day for something, or blocking out my whole afternoon or my whole morning, it's like you'll find a million excuses not to get started. You'll find a million other things to do instead of doing it. It just feels too big and too overwhelming. Yeah. So instead, just plan those 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I'm just going to focus on laundry. All things laundry in this house, nothing else. Like, I'm not touching a dish if I see it in the way. I'm not picking up I'm just doing all things laundry for 30 minutes. And then that's it. And then move on to something else.
It's dreadful 30 minutes, but we all have to do it, right?
20 minutes. And maybe it's 10 minutes for you to get started, but use a timer and you will build up. So focus is like a muscle. Like any other muscle you use. If you haven't I'm trying to go to the gym, my biceps are ridiculously weak. Like, I can't do anything. And now I'm feeling myself going from a 2-pound to a 5-pound to an 8-pound. Like, it's so excited because I'm like just building up that muscle. And that's exactly what focus is like. Like we're just not used to it anymore. And like we're
train ourselves.
Connected, and you just train yourself in these small increments. So if it means 10 minutes, 10 minutes, that's great. 10 minutes is great. It's better than, the 3 minutes that you can usually do it. In fact, research shows that the typical person, and I can't even imagine what a typical person business, is interrupted once every 3 minutes.
Wow.
Once every 3 minutes between a text alert, a beep, an email, and something. And so it's like, how can we ever do our best work? How are we ever going to work at an integrity and a level that we want to, if we're going to allow ourselves to always be, to be distracted at that point, at that amount, I guess.
Yeah. And I think also you can apply to this to spending time with your children without electronics or whatever, right? Which
absolutely,
putting a timer and kind of being like, you're my main focus.
Yeah.
Same thing.
30 minutes we're going to cook dinner together, or 30 minutes we're going to play on the floor together, or whatever. It's a lot more meaningful, and it helps you be present instead of trying to do 10 things at the same time, because then you're just kind of you're doing everything half-assed, like you're not doing anything really well, So I hope
okay. So we'll post the links to some of the recommendations that Mridhu made. And then if anyone has a comment before we sign off, type it in now. Otherwise, like I said, watch the replay and type in your comments and tell us about the webinar that you have going on soon.
Yeah. I will post more tips if that's okay in the next day or two, but it's next Thursday, and it's called How to Prioritize When Everything in Your Business Feels Important. So we're going to definitely touch about this stuff as well, because this is definitely a part of it, but there's a lot more. We're going to talk about actually, how do you know what to prioritize? How do you really make the time? So this is great, but then how do I focus on my revenue generating activities and the stuff that's really going to impact my business? And I talk about another strategy there that there's like a few strategies in my life I think have changed my life. So I'd say one is the Pomodoro, one is the kind of avoiding distractions, and then another one we'll talk in there. And that putting these in use together has really just impacted my business tremendously. So that's what I'm going to be sharing. And like I said, I'll post more about it here, but I'd love for anyone to join.
Yeah, so she'll post the link to the webinar in the tribe when she has it available. And I think there'll be great tips to dig a little deeper on how to manage your time and become more productive, right? We have one question before I let everyone go from Alexa. Is there a good calendar that you use to schedule your day and block out time that is helpful to you, ideally an online calendar?
Hey, Alexa, great question. So I'll start by saying I try to simplify my life as much as possible. So I just use the good old fashioned Google Calendar, like the Gmail, because I have a Gmail email, and that's what connects with my Gmail. So I just want to keep everything as simple as possible and in the same platform. So I'm just using Gmail, my Google Calendar, and then I go in physically and put in those time blocks like throughout the day. And some are recurring, which is really helpful to use that in a digital calendar, and then some, is different based upon each day.
Okay. And then you mentioned Evernote is another online tool that you use.
That's another lifesaver, life changer. There's Evernote and OneNote, and they're pretty comparable. OneNote is if you have the Microsoft suite on your computer, then it just comes free with that. With the Microsoft Office, you get OneNote. And Evernote is just another app you can download, and they're both list-making tools. And I recommend this to every client that I coach with. Like we spend a lot of time on that and making it work for every area of your life and your business. Like everything my whole life it probably lives on Evernote. It's really amazing. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Okay, I need to try that one too. Okay, so if you have any questions for us, drop them in the comments and we'll get back to you. Check out Mridhu's webinar, I think next week, right?
Yeah, next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Oh, Rosanna says she uses Wunderlist. Have you done that one? And she said that.
And I've heard a lot about it. I've just made my list in Evernote, so it works for me. Like I said, I keep it simple, but I have heard really good things about Wunderlist. And hey, if it's working for you, that's great. Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a lot of times it's just a matter of finding what it is that really works for you.
Yeah. And I think the time blocking is huge. So for me, I have like chunks of time I devote to Kidville, chunks of time I devote to coaching, chunks of time that I have in my calendar for working out that like I won't make a meeting during those times, even if somebody wants to. And I think that that's really helpful too.
Totally.
Okay, well, Tribe, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who tuned in live, next week I will be back. I think I'm on my own next week doing Ask Anjali and talking a little bit about the benefits of masterminds. And for those of you who are local, I am launching a new mastermind group in March. So please let me know if you're interested in joining. That's a group of women that come together, hold each other accountable, brainstorm, sounding board. Mridhu and I are actually in an online mastermind together. So I will chat a little bit more about mastermind groups next week live. But if you're interested in joining us on the local level and or virtually, definitely email me. And until then, I will see you guys here next week. Thanks so much, Mridhu.
Thanks so much for having me. This is awesome.
Okay, I'll see you guys all next week. And before then, I'll see you in the tribe. Have a great day.